So for anyone who is new around here, I am Unbreakable. That is the name that I go by. Unbreakable and Uplifting started in 2019, April of 2019, right after I got out of my most recent relationship, which was the marriage to my son's father. But for those of you who don't know, that's not where my began. My began as a child, being born to a mother and a father who I was a disappointment to right off the bat. Nobody knew what to do with a girl. I'm the only girl of 5 children. And the abuse started early on. The neglect, the abandonment, the dysfunction, the toxicity, all of it started in my childhood. Then I was a victim of as a child by a family member. From there, being raised by these toxic, horrible parental figures, I didn't know my head from a hole in the wall. And I don't think that's the correct saying, but you get what I'm saying. Led me into my first marriage to my daughter's father, who was severely physically, 3 concussions, heavy infidelity, heavy drug use, alcohol use. And I was in that marriage for 1990 to 1998. And I got out thinking, oh, I'm good. I'm out now, right? I survived. I'm good. All is well. Nobody's beating on me anymore. I'm good. Several years later, I met my son's father. Head over heels. Didn't know what love bombing was, but boy, is he good at it. Didn't know what grooming is, but boy, is he good at it. I got sucked into that relationship and stayed in that relationship for 15 years and experienced everything from physical everything. And that ultimately ended because I found out after the fact that the cheated again, this time with the high school sweetheart, came home one day and announced, I want a divorce. I didn't know why. I didn't know about the infidelity at that point. But I know that I was spiraled. I had fallen into the deepest depression I had ever been in. I had a plan in December of 2018 to take my own life. But I had a background in social services and psychology. And so thankfully that was embedded in there. And I reached out for help. And so began my journey. Now, what y'all see here on this page in the Unbreakable community, on my videos, on my lives, on my posts, what you see here is a person who is healing. I've said it before and I will continue to say it. I am not a mental health professional. Zero. No. I am not someone who thinks that I know everything. Far from it. I am a work in progress just like the rest of you. It just so happens that I'm really vocal. Very vocal. And this is coming from someone who was an introvert, someone who wouldn't open their mouth if someone at the restaurant got my order wrong. Oh, it's okay. No. It's okay. Shy, scared, terrified of my own shadow. I am simply a work in progress. And if something that I have learned, something I have experienced can help someone else, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to tell the raw, authentic truth of my life, of my struggles, of my ups, of my downs. And part of that is talking about healing, the act of healing, the process of healing. So let's get right down to it. Healing sucks. The healing journey sucks. It is hard. I have never in my life done something so hard. And I've done some pretty hard things. I've never in my life had to be more honest with myself than I ever have. Healing will take you right back down to the depths of hell. Healing is going to be painful. Healing is going to rip open wounds that you just I don't want to think about it anymore. That's the past. I just don't want to deal with that anymore. It happened. I accept it. I've moved on. It's not how healing works. Healing means that I have had to go back to those wounds of being a child and rip them open, carve them open, tear them open, and feel things that I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel like that lost little girl, that helpless little girl, that unwanted little girl. That little girl who was never enough, who was told I would never amount to anything, who was told I don't want you here anyways. Who wants to go back to that and relive that horror? Who wants to go back to having to relive when we're children? Who wants to do that? What sane person wants to do that? But here's the key word. Sane. We want to do that because we are sane. We're not one of those toxic people. We are not we will never be like them. So we have to put in the work. And that work sucks. That work sucks. It is exhausting. I will never sugarcoat anything for y'all. It is exhausting. I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to my therapist, and I see her every week for years now, every week. It used to be twice a week. And I would just ask her, please just wave the magic wand. I just want to be done now. Can I please be done now? Haven't I healed enough? Can I just be done now? But we can't. Again, I'm going to be honest and raw and authentic with y'all. There is no end point in healing. None. Because no one who walks the face of this earth is perfect. We will never get there. Thinking that at some point we'll be done with this healing, at some point we will be this perfect individual, this perfect human being, is unrealistic. It will always be a journey. But that journey gets so much easier the further you go. See, I had to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had to get sick and tired of battling depression. I had to get sick and tired of having suicidal ideations. I had to get sick and tired of isolating. I had to get sick and tired of crying, of being angry, of every emotion. I had to get sick and tired of it because I didn't want to live the rest of my life in that space. Who wants to be sad for the rest of their life? Who wants to be depressed for the rest of their lives? Who wants to deal with anxiety and depression and post-traumatic stress and horrific nightmares and triggers everywhere you turn? Who wants to live that way? We as survivors, I can speak for all of us, I'm sure. We don't want to live that way. Our hearts are so humongous. We at our core are the most incredible human beings that walk the face of this earth. We know what it's like to be hurting, to be depressed. We know what it's like to be harmed, broken. We want better. And that's what our healing is striving to be better than we were the day before, is striving to find our unbreakable spirits. I don't remember where that word came from to me and why it stuck with me from the very beginning of my healing journey. But I knew that I didn't want to be broken anymore. I didn't want others to have the ability to break me anymore. I didn't want to feel worthless and damaged, and that was as good as my life was going to get. And so Unbreakable became my word. Because I'll be damned if my mother will haunt me. She's still alive. But I'll be damned if she haunts my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, how I feel about myself. I won't allow her to have that power over me anymore. My father still walks this earth. I won't allow him to make me feel like I was a mistake because he's a boy dad. And I'm the only girl of 5 children. So I was a mistake. He never knew what to do with me. So he just kind of ignored me. I existed. My daughter's father, my first husband, he's passed. His drugs and his alcohol and his choices in life caught up with him. And he passed early from a heart attack. Those physical wounds that he had left me with, 3 concussions, they're not going to run me. They're not going to constantly be in my head that I need to flinch every time someone raises a hand at me when they're just raising their hand. My son's father, my second husband, who I still have to endure because my son is still a minor and there's still custody involved. I'll be damned if I allow him to take up space. Now, there's a difference between taking up space and sharing your story, talking about your truth, telling what went on. That's my story. That's what I went through. That's what I had to endure. That's what I had to survive. It has nothing to do with him. Someone reached out to me through the messages yesterday or the day before, and I get them all the time. And said that I sound like such a bitter person. And I need to step up my game because I sound like such a bitter person. It's your opinion. And your opinion doesn't really matter to me. See, healing is the most amazing gift you could ever give to yourself, which in turn becomes a gift to everyone around you. There are going to be those days where you don't want to do it. There's going to be those days where you want to give up. There's going to be those days where you want to go back. Please just let me go back. It wasn't to the person that I had those thoughts of wanting to go back. It was to the predictability of it. My son's father was always on a 3-day cycle. 3 days good, 3 days bad, 3 days good, 3 days bad. Don't know why. Tried for the longest time to figure it out. I frankly don't give a damn. But it was predictable. Healing's not predictable. You're going to have old wounds and old memories that you didn't even know existed. Are going to just pop up on you one day. And they might take you to your knees. And they might take you time to work through them and process them and overcome them. Take your power back from them. There's no predictability in healing. None. At the beginning here, I told y'all that in the Unbreakable community where we get raw, authentic, honest, and we talk about real stuff. Sunday, as I said, I had my meltdown. I'm a work in progress too, y'all. I ain't perfect. Never will be. Don't want to be. Healing's messy. Healing is anger. Healing can be numb some days. Healing can be sometimes we fall back into our own toxic traits and we want to be destructive to ourselves in one way or another. Healing sucks. But again, I can assure you, it is worth every bit of it. Every bit of it. If you're interested in diving deep, getting real, raw, open, and honest, tackling that healing journey, join us in the Unbreakable community. The link to that is here in the comments. In that community, it is safe, it is judgment-free, and it is family. We talk about hard things. We celebrate each other. We uplift each other. We encourage each other. You have the ability to post and go live yourself in that community. We have a weekly group-like therapy in that community. I have many in that community who are quietly sitting back and watching, and that's okay. And I have many of us in that community who are very vocal, not just me. In fact, I think I'm the least vocal in that community. I recommend that you check that out. Healing's going to suck. Healing's going to hurt. Healing can be traumatizing. But you are here right this very minute. Right now, something in what I have said over the last 35 minutes has resonated with you. Something I have said in the last 35 minutes has spoken to you. Which means You've already begun. You're already fighting. You're already walking that path. That means you're strong and you can overcome everything that comes your way. Maybe hard, but you can do that.